I've had some clients for 10 years now, you know, and 8 years, and that's how I do it. I don't treat them job-wise, I treat them as a relationship, you know, and sometimes their needs may come with a price. As long as they're taken care of and they know that you're going to take care of them, and it doesn't really matter the situation, then they'll come back, and they will be back. Welcome to Cinema 5D on the Go. Moving conversations about moving images with filmmakers and industry leaders. Brought to you by Tilta, Blackmagic Design, Manfrotto, and Olympus OMD in association with Sony. This is your host, Nino Leitner.
Yeah, I know. We all know for freelancers, life is not easy. I mean, you're working. It's a very volatile business, and we work. All of us work on. You know, like the projects are very time consuming, and it's not like if I'm a freelancer selling, or you know, like if I have a little shop selling, whatever small things.
Widgets.
It's easy in a way that you're not dependent on the individual customer because you have so many probably. But if within our job, you really, you know, some people just go from one paid gig to the next and they have like one client every 3 months. So, and then there might be nothing for another 2 if you're starting out. So I think that's what makes it difficult in order to even plan to have a sustainable income. And then
the gig mentality. It's the gig mentality, and it's really difficult. And when I first quit my job, because I just couldn't do it anymore, it was soul crushing. I had to get out and do my own thing and be creative, and also just get out of a very oppressing environment. So I had no idea what I was doing. I had zero idea what I was doing. But I quickly realized that if I kept just taking freelance work and freelance days here or there, that I would never be able to get out of that vicious cycle of that work, and I would not be able to please all my clients.
So how do you get out of it? That's the question, though, right?
I think for like true freelancers, true independents who work by themselves, you know, find a group of people, to collaborative partners, either in writing or not in writing, you know, have that person be the person, if you get double booked, that you trust to do that edit or to do that shoot. And that way, or if you're sick and you can't make a gig, you have cover. You know, I feel like sometimes we get so, we covet all our work so much that we're afraid to let people help us. And we're afraid, I went through that too, subconsciously, of trust with my early on with my employees. Like my guys now, my team is fantastic. They're handling everything back home at the shop without any problems. I have no blips on my radar screen at all, you know, so they're fantastic. You know, Alex, Jeremy, Rick, my husband John. I mean, it's just, I am one of the luckiest people around. So but that's how I suggest people do that. You know, you don't necessarily have to have employees like I do, or partners or collaborators, I call them. I don't want employees, I want partners. And so I feel like if you have that mentality, if you're gonna grow a little collective, if you were, then you can get out of that. You don't have to be constantly worried about turning down a job if you get double booked. You can take those second or third holds and then spread the work around, and then maybe have a referral system within the collective.
Yeah, that's what we try as well. I mean, we have this very tight network of trusted shooters and friends who are, you know that which person is right for what job. And I had this situation just last week before I came here. There were like 4 gigs on the same day.
Yeah,
and
it happens.
And you don't want to say no to all of them, because you know how it is. If some of them are new clients, they might never come back to you, because it's like then still send good people. As
long as they're taken care of and they know that you're going to take care of them. And it doesn't really matter the situation, then they'll come back, and they will be back. And I've had some clients for 10 years now, and 8 years, and that's how I do it. I don't treat them job-wise, I treat them as a relationship, and sometimes their needs may come with a price. It may mean that, for instance, I have a client who's been with us for 10 years, and she wrote and she said, hey, I don't have a budget for the weekend markup, but I have a weekend mix coming up. Can you take care of it for me? I really need to deliver, and I know I won't be done until Friday.
Yeah.
And I was like, of course, no problem.
You need to be flexible as well.
Right, you're our client. We've been working with you. We love our relationship. And so I feel like, I think sometimes too, people get too stuck in, they're too worried about being taken advantage of, that they get stuck in this mode of always fearing that. But I think on the flip side, you know, if you don't let the rules be known up front, if you don't say, hey, no, I don't work weekends. If I work weekends, it's a markup. Or, you know, you need to pay me in 30 days or suddenly you're on delivery. You know, I think if you don't set those rules up front, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for people.
That's very true. Especially big companies like to have like
90 day. I'm like, what is that heck? You know, it's not the Bank of Cheryl, you know? So I think I do have some clients who are 45 days or 90 days, and, you know, I just let them know that, you know, that's really not acceptable. You pay your...
It's usually the biggest companies who have that.
And it's because they don't want to get dinged with late fees and whatever, and they have to go through that big accounting thing. And, you know, I do have one client who's 90 days, and I just know, you know, so on the 91st day, if
as long as it's somebody you know and trust, and you know the money will be coming, it's something different, So.
I think, you know, but again, it's when you have to build up that level of trust, but you also have to communicate in a nice way, or a contract, what the rules are, so people know what they are. You know, what are your boundaries? It's like a relationship, personal relationship almost. So
So, where do you see yourself and your company in 5 years?
Oh my goodness. I really want to grow demographically, but not necessarily by opening up different offices around the country. I want to forge ourselves more in the remote realm of remote review. I definitely see us doing Atmos more. I see us doing VR 360 a lot more. I don't necessarily see us growing numbers-wise, because I've never been happy in a big company. I like, you know, 7 to 10 people at the most. So definitely maybe growth in employees. I also see us working remotely more, letting more flexibility for employees and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. It's always, every 6 months I take a look and say, hey, what's going on? Where do we want to be? You know, because it used to be you could plan 5 years out and it would be great. But now you really have to plan 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years. You have to be a little more in touch with what's going on.
Cool.
Yeah.
And where do you see the industry moving?
I don't know. I really don't. I can't.
So, explain a little bit about Atmos. I think that's something that, you know, a lot of people know from the cinema, I guess. But
yeah, Atmos is actually a totally different animal than discrete channel mixing. So it's not, even though it has what they call a 7-1 bed inside of it, it's not really a channel-based mix format. It's more sound field oriented. So like you create your 7-1 bed, which is your ambiances and maybe your music, but you also have the overheads, so you can really immerse yourself in the sound. And you can put music up there, you can put ambiances up there. You also have what is called object-based mixing, where you can, a sound or a channel, not a channel, but a track, if you're dealing with Pro Tools, you can put an automation on a clip, and that can be an object. And you can have 128 objects going at the same time, and that can go anywhere in the sound field. And as you're mixing, you see this 3D model of the room, of the sphere. You really should go by the booth, the Dolby booth, and hear and see the Dolby Vision and the Dolby Atmos. And it's object based, so you have 128. It's incredible, and you totally do feel immersed. Where 5.1 and 7.1 left off, you know, where you felt it around you, but you didn't really, I never really felt immersed.
Yeah, that's true.
This will give you that immersive quality. And
it's more like you could turn around, oh, now this speaker is doing something, and now it's that one.
Well, you still have that, but it's definitely more total immersion going on, and you know, it's definitely going to be hitting consumers in their homes this year. I really feel that it's the technology is there. You know, Netflix, Amazon Studios, the big guys, they're all like pushing hard at CES. You know, most of the consumer electronics is already outfitted with Dolby Atmos decoders and stuff like that. So it's definitely coming. I went to one of the first surround sound conferences in LA. I think it was 2013. I could be a little wrong there. It might be 2014. And it where they showed Atmos and they showed it off, and I just sat there and I was like, this is the future. This is where we're going. So whether you're doing 360 audio, VR audio, or Atmos, it's totally getting into that immersive sound field arena. And this is where we're going. So I was like, I need to have this in my shop in 4 years. Awesome. And that was my goal, and I made my goal. So, because I want to be on, I always like to be on the, I don't like to chase technology. I want to be ahead of the technology.
Good point, like we are.
Yeah, exactly. This is amazing. I've had so much fun.
Well, thanks so much for being here, and yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I didn't get to learn anything about you guys, though.
Well, we can talk about that off camera, right?
Okay, all right, okay.
Thanks everybody for watching this episode of Cinema 5D on the go. Tune in for more next week, and yeah, see you again. And stay tuned to Cinema 5D for all the news coverage about new camera and filmmaking technology, and reviews, of course. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.